what is the big pipe? Why can't they just rip it out? What is it doing? Watch to find out more. Hello, I am back on the Lichfield and I couldn't be happier. I was actually only here a few weeks ago with my family, and we did quite a few things while we were here. Went to the Stafford Riverway link and did an open day there, and we did lots of walks along the canal. But I'm filming for CRT, the Canal and River Trust app, just up the road, so I thought I'd pop here and do an update, because as always on the Lichfield Canal, loads has happened. Now I'm in Lock 24, or Old Lock 24 now. And I just want to take a little walk through here. We did a video a while back where I came up through here and explained what was going on and stuff. But loads has happened in here since, and there's been a couple of interesting developments with the big pipe, which you can see just up ahead, just in that little gap there, look. Now the big pipe is a drainage ditch. When the canal was filled in, I think it was in the 70s, they put this big pipe taking all the drainage from surface water from Lichfield, and it goes all the way up to by St John's. And where the lock is being put in there, where it's a bent lock, that is then going to go into the canal and feed just below that lock into the pound. So this section of the big pipe has been out for a little while now. As you can see, it's been cut there, and it used to go all the way through. And there are bits of it inside the pound below this old lock, just over there, and there's grass growing out of it and stuff. It was just behind where we started the video over there, and they've used that as an edging. I'm not too sure if that stays. I think that is to protect the wall from boats when it eventually fills up. So this was a lock, and if you look at the bars on the top there, roughly where those bars are, there's some blue ones at the top there which are slightly higher than these. That's the old water level of the lock. So they've had to knock this lock down, and the lock wall would have originally been here, look, going straight through, and they've opened up this side to allow a diversion around so they can cut into this bank. And that's because they need to get under Cricket's Lane. Cricket's Lane up ahead was a humpback bridge. They don't want to put a humpback bridge in again now, plus it was on a junction that was very dangerous. So this big pipe, they've now removed another section of it a bit further up, and you'll notice the pipe is still in behind us there, and you'll see in a second where it comes out on the other side. Now that's for a reason. So behind this wall all the way through, where they've got this narrow section through here, if a boat pulls up through here and cruises through, it's going to create quite a pull on the water. So the idea is, instead of creating like a suction, you have the pipe down the side, and that allows the flow of water to circulate around like that, so it doesn't create forces when the boat comes through and cause issues. So that's why that's been capped in. It's not going to be capped off, it's going to be left in position to fix this narrow. But there's loads of water in here, and you'll see all this black pipe here led about, and this was a diversion to take the big pipe down the side and stop it from flooding into the works like it has. Unfortunately, you may also know we've had insane rainfall over the past few weeks compared to what has been the driest start to the year in like 90 years. And they had a bund down here which they built out of this soil, and it's been washed away. You can actually see it in the bottom of the water now. If I disturb it, look, it all floats up. So that's just basically washed out and settled into the canal like sediment. Now they're going to have to rebuild that, but they're going to have to drain this section out first. It's quite good because it's shown that this is holding water. All of this has been concreted underneath here, and you can see quite how far they've gone. That's a massive amount compared to before. Now what's also happened since I was last here is this wall. So this, when they remove this big pipe from here, there's the other end of it, I said, look, that goes down through there, so that creates that circular effect in the water. When they removed this probably 2 months ago, this left all of this. So this has all been concreted since. They've built the wall through, and they've started all the retaining stuff. You can see in the back there they've got rebar going in now for strengthening, and that'll be filled with concrete, much like it is on the lower part of it there. And this is a nice wide section of canal now. I mean, it's only a narrow canal, it's not a broad canal. This allows for a bit of sort of waiting wall and stuff, and there's going to be a bridge up ahead and a lock up ahead, which is what the fundraising was done for. Now looks like they're starting to build a sandbag wall as well. Whether that's a replacement, I'm not too sure if that was there before. The idea was this pipe should be able to cope with all the water, and what it didn't take could run down this channel that was built down the side here. But obviously that massive rainfall, that torrential rain we had, just flooded the whole works. So here you can see is where that little black pipe goes. So that was basically like an overflow weir to take it down into this channel. And this is the end of the pipe at the moment. And the Lichfield Falls, quite a nice feature. They should keep it, I think. Swim in this in the summer. It's actually really clean water because it's rainfall. So the point of it is that when it goes up into the top there, all that surface water from Lichfield, from old Lichfield, will run off into the canal and fill the canal. So it's actually going to be a really good source of water. And it's going to keep, especially in the summer, I mean, I know we said we've had a lot of rain recently, but that's been running well for, I've never seen it not running anyway, let's say that. So that's a constant flow of water into the canal, which helps everybody. Now it's about halfway along the canal, so it's not going to help everything. The canal is falling back to behind me, so it is going to feed down into the Coventry Canal eventually at Huddlesford. But this section here, first of all, there's the big pipe that came out of just down here. This is going to be reused as walling again, I believe. They can't dig this out. This is going to be like a much wider area here, like a winding hole, or I'm not too sure if there's a bit of mooring here, but they can't dig this bit out now because this is going to be the compound for Cricket's Lane for the bridge that's being built just ahead of us. Now that's being built, paid for by Persimmon Homes, who are building just over in those fields there. There isn't any houses actually gone up yet, but the sort of site work preparation has started. You can see where they've got like a tarmac road going in on a T. So I imagine that's going to be either the compound or that's the first houses they'll be building. So the Staffordshire County Council, I believe, who are building the actual bridge, but Persimmon are paying for it, and that's happening later this year, and that goes here. So now, because the road level is lower, this can just be a deck bridge, and you don't have a dangerous humpback bridge next to the junction of the road there. And then we're into New Lock 24, which is going to be right here. Now this was the one that was raised money for recently on the big give appeal. So the Lichfield Canal Trust raised £157,154 towards the new lock. So there's about 7 miles in this canal, and I believe something like 40% of it is actively being worked on right now. That is bits in water, like Darnford Moors, the bit just behind where we started is in water. They have bits that are going through planning permission at the moment. Now this bit here is where they are currently digging out up at Gallows Wharf, and this is all the spoil. And you've got lots of stuff in here. You've got bricks down in here. You've got, I don't know what that is, whether that's part of a lock gate or something. It looks a bit small really. Probably just some shelving that's been dumped in there. But this is all coming out. This will all be moved and sorted and taken away. I say it all the time, but I bloody love this tree. So the canal's going to be just here, kind of behind us here. And this tree, thankfully, has been saved. And it's going to be a massive canopy over the canal right through where this kind of little site is here, this site offices. Now this is going to look amazing when it's full of water. And then right in front of it, which is going to add to the backdrop, is going to be the lift bridge. Now this is by Fish Face if you want to get your bearings on a map. And this wasn't originally a bridge here, but because of development since the canal closed, there's now a footpath running through here. So they need to replace it. It has to be a lift bridge because there simply isn't enough space to put a humpback bridge in for pedestrians or to put a swing bridge in. And then this is a temporary footpath which has been put in ready because this bridge behind us is going to start very soon, hopefully this summer. It's all fabricated already. They're just they've got to put the supports in, and then they can bring it to site and build it. I think the WRG groups are coming here to do that. There are some work parties later in the year. So the big pipe needs to keep flowing. It's still working. It's still, as you can see by the water flowing through back there, it's still taking surface water off of Lichfield and keeping Lichfield from flooding. And that's an important part of canals, is to stop flooding, and is a major reason why they need to be restored, because it allows you to divert and channel water to other areas and also gives you a capacity of water as well. We also need more reservoirs, which it looks like the CRT, Canal River Trust, are working on ways with the government to do that as well. You've seen the problems down on the Mon and Brack on my videos. It's going to get worse. So with global warming and climate change, whether you like that or not, we are having more extreme weathers, from dry spells like we've had this year to heavy downpour. Now that heavy downpour sounds like a lot of rain, but you've got to contain it because it's pointless otherwise. You can't contain that water unless you have reservoirs. So in areas like this it just floods off and you have flash flooding everywhere, then it runs off into the rivers to the sea. So you need that capacity. Now that big pipe starts to rear its head again here, and it runs all the way through this. That's just where the lift bridge is, just beyond that tree there, and it runs in and out of the canal here in several places. And this is going to be kept and then removed as and when needed. So there's going to be another bit in the bank just up here. Then there's going to be sheet piling in places and brick wall put in other places. Most of this is going to be sheet piling, and that big pipe has to be kept during the entire restoration until they get to the point where they're on to the next section where it can be fully removed, and this bit will be full then, so it will have somewhere to drain into. So at the bottom of the canal here where it's full, it then overflows out of there and goes back into the watercourse it would originally have fed. So it is actually still feeding the streams that it did as well, so you're not losing that capacity in the local streams, which they've got used to, which is quite important. You need to protect the local area when you're doing these things. That's on Borrow Crops Canal Park on the Bend. Here we are at Gallows Wharf. Now Gallows Wharf has had a lot of work happening recently. Last time we were here, we bumped into Rick the Brick. I was with Narrowboat Nige. They didn't have the steps in over there yet, although the steps were in, but they hadn't done the brickwork, and most of this was not even really started. And as you can see, the pipe is in there. Now again, they have bricked around it here, and I think the idea is to leave this section in, and then they're going to sheet pile along to where it comes back out where we just were, and again allow that as a section to pull through and allow that circulation of water. But this wall here, which is sat behind it, has come on loads. Now what they're trying to do at the moment is develop this so they can have a channel running through, so this whole pipe can be removed from here and allow water back down through that pipe. I'm not sure how they're doing that yet, but that'll be interesting to see. But this wall then goes into the old wall that's been here for quite a while and was restored. And one thing they found, unfortunately, as they've been doing this, is the wall doesn't have deep enough footings, probably for more modern standards now. These things change over time. So what they're doing here is they are extending the footing out onto the concrete pad, which supports that wall and makes it a lot more stable. And this is the latest bit of work here. This is the concrete pad ready for the next pour. As you can see, they've already done this top section and on the other side of this pipe as well. So I imagine it's going to be similar to behind us, where they are going to put a concrete pad in, put a pipe through, and maybe a bunded area where it can overflow if needed. Now this wall is now in place because the section here doesn't currently have planning permission. Now it's been worked on, but it's not in place at the moment. So this is the end of the restoration as permissions are in place. So what they want to do is get this all finished and fill this with water, because let's face it, we all want to see canal and water. So by putting that bund in, that block wall behind us, that allows this area to be filled, and then that can just be removed at a later date. So because of this work here, you can no longer cross the canal here. There used to be a bund here that used to come up, used to walk across. That now, once finished, is going to allow people to cross a bridge, then still get back on the other side and continue their walk. So these steps are this size because it's what they could afford at the time. When they found them, they couldn't get ones that were big enough. They would cost quite a lot of money to actually finish off. So the plan was made to actually build them into like a brick staircase and use the top section to get up to the bridge. It doesn't help that the wall that they go onto is at an angle, so it's quite a challenge to actually fit these. Like I said, last time I was down here with Narrowboat Nige, they were just finishing the brickwork on there, so Rick's done well to finish that up as well. On that subject, very soon, me and Narrowboat Nige we're doing a walk, and we're going to walk the entire length of the restoration section, which is about half the canal, about 3.5 miles. That is happening on the 5th of July, and it's going to be a live stream from, let's say, midday. I will put more up on the channel as I know what's happening. Narrowboat Nige's channel is great, so please do pop him a sub. I will put his link in the description. Just on the big pipe as well, there's a little hole in the side. I'm not sure how well this is going to come out. You can see probably water flowing down there. We go, you can, yeah. So there's quite a bit of water in there flowing through. It's a few inches deep in there, even though we're back in a sort of a drier spell now. So there's a lot of water that runs through here, and that's going to keep that canal topped up lovely. And that is going to actually finish just up above where we are here in the pound. Now the next lock is just behind that fence over there. So the manholes up there are going to feed down into the canal here and keep that water topping the canal up. So just a quick update as I'm passing for the Lichfield Canal. Please do sign up as a member if you can. It supports this trust so much when you do so. It's really important to support all of these canal trusts. If they're your local one as well, come down and volunteer. There is a guy that comes down here and he travels miles, I think it's 2.5 hours, and he was the one that built this wall. I'll put a picture over of him now. And that's dedication for you, and that's because the Lichfield Canal is just motoring along, and it's one of those things you want to come along in years to come and say, I helped build that. And the way you can do that is by being a volunteer. Now, whether that's clean or dirty boots doesn't matter. The behind the scenes, especially on this canal, do an insane amount. Like I said, they're already working on a next 2-year project up there to get planning, and they don't stop. So clean or muddy boots, whatever your skill is, the Lichfield Canal could use you, and so could any of your local canal trusts. So please do support them. Anyway, thanks for watching this very quick update on the canal. Have a great day.